Good morning, and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Northeast. I'm Andrew Pritchard, meteorologist with Nutrient Ag Solutions. Apologize up front for any of the background noise that you might hear. I'm actually recording this video in an airport in Salt Lake City as I return home from Idaho. Just the way that it is sometimes with early morning travel plans, and try to get this forecast out to you as early as possible. So again, apologies for the background noise, but I wanted to not have this video be several hours late this morning. As we take a look at the satellite picture here, an overlying lightning strikes. We saw quite a bit of thunderstorm activity, including some severe weather, a damaging tornado that went through the Nashville, Tennessee area overnight. Continuing to see that lightning and severe thunderstorm activity continuing across the Ohio River Valley into the Mid-South and into the Mid-Atlantic region. We'll see some of that pushing into southern portions of the Northeast region as we head through the day today. Now, taking a look at the radar picture, again, we're seeing that shower and storm activity moving across the Ohio River Valley, moving across the Mid-Atlantic, and that will push into southern portions of the Northeast region here. Even a slight risk, or marginal risk, I should say, to be technically correct, but a slim chance of an isolated strong storm across portions of Pennsylvania, Maryland, and New Jersey. We'll talk about that here in a moment. Now, as we look at the temperature map, here is the temperature gradient, the frontal boundary on which those thunderstorms are developing. We have the warm air feeding northward from the Gulf of Mexico, supplying the fuel for those thunderstorms, and then cold air coming in on the backside of the storm system. Now, as we look at the hazards map, it's relatively quiet across the Northeast region. We have winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings across northern portions of Maine, and we've also got tornado watches still in effect across portions of the Ohio River Valley. Now, as we look at the severe weather outlook for today from the Storm Prediction Center, we see that marginal risk, the green shading across portions of southern Pennsylvania, getting into New Jersey, and then south from there. And that's, again, where later on this afternoon we could see a stray strong storm, perhaps producing an isolated tornado or some damaging wind gusts. And we can see that. We look at the high-resolution NAM model. Let me go ahead and bring it back here, and we'll watch these early morning storms pushing across portions of Pennsylvania, getting into western and central New York State as we get into the mid-afternoon hours. Now, this is the cold front lingering back behind. This is where we expect to see any strong storms begin to develop later on this afternoon across western portions of Pennsylvania, getting into the Virginias, portions of Maryland. As we head through the evening hours, this will sweep across central and eastern Pennsylvania, getting into New Jersey after sunset tonight, right around 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock during the overnight hours. So again, a chance for some damaging winds, maybe an isolated tornado or two in that region as we head through the evening and overnight hours. Now, as we look at the northern picture here, a chance for a wintry mix as this storm system begins to lift through portions of New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. Maybe some accumulating snow across northern Maine, and then as we get toward the backside of this system, flow coming out of the northwest on the reverse side here, perhaps some lake effect snow as we head through the day on Wednesday. Now, as we go ahead, we'll move ahead, talking about some gusty conditions with a pair of these disturbances moving through. Wind gusts perhaps 30 to 40 miles per hour at times as we head through the overnight tonight. Those gusty winds could continue across northern portions of the area. We're talking about northern New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine as we head through the day on Wednesday. Now, as we take a look at the total accumulated precipitation from this, certainly across southern portions of Pennsylvania, getting into New Jersey, where we could see some of those thunderstorms, it's possible someone could pick up an isolated inch to an inch and a half. Elsewhere, we're looking at probably a few tenths of an inch to a half of an inch, maybe some isolated pockets of 1 inch across the remainder of the Northeast region. So we look at the snow accumulation map over the next 48 hours, again, watching some of those isolated pockets of, a trace to several inches of snow, more significant accumulations of maybe 4 to 6 inches possible across northern Maine, getting into the high elevations of upstate New York, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Now, as we take a look at the upper level pattern, we're going to see a big change, and Eric really hit this hard in our ag forecast video on Monday morning, so I encourage you to go back and watch that. We're watching this ridge across the Pacific. It's going to begin to retrograde back toward the east, and that's going to allow a trough to build in across the western U.S. And I'll go ahead and just play this animation so you can see the transformation here as we head into the weekend. Again, now you see that area of high pressure way back toward the to the west, and then that trough digging in here across the Pacific Ocean, and that we'll see pieces of that moving across the central and northeastern U.S. as we head into the early and middle part of next week. So we take a look at the loop of 24-hour accumulated precipitation. You see the first wave moving through the region, exiting here as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. Watch another disturbance swinging through here over the weekend, bringing perhaps some light precipitation. But what I want to bring your attention to, we're going to go ahead and we'll watch this one more time a little bit quicker. Here comes the weekend system that could bring some light precipitation to the region on Friday. And then the next, the big attention getter here is going to be as we get into Monday and Tuesday now, watching a storm system develop across the middle portion of the country, and this will eventually impact the northeast as we head into perhaps Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Taking a look at the upper level pattern again, we see this transformation. We see a ridge building across the midsection of the country, and that is going to allow a big warm up across the Midwest and the Northeast. Some very early spring mild weather across a big chunk of the eastern half of the country. Now we can see the surface response to the pattern change here as we look at the precipitable water forecast. Again, watching the system move through right now, taking a front, stalling that across the south. That's where we're going to see some very heavy rain over the next 3 days or so as a cutoff low kind of travels across the region. Drier air being pushed into the northeast region until that area of high pressure slides off to the southeast. And we'll see clockwise flow on the backside there begin to return moisture to the Midwest and eventually the northeast region here as we get into the early and middle part of next week. And that will drive our next storm system and the next chance for organized precipitation across the region as we head into early next week. A look at the total accumulated forecast precipitation over the next 10 days, an early look at that, of course, assuming there will be some changes with this. But again, over the next 10 days, a chance for many regions here to pick up upwards of 2 inches of precipitation between the storm system that's moving through today and then the one that moves through early next week. Warmth is going to continue across the region. Temperatures 10 to 20 degrees warmer than average today, continuing to be warmer than average as we head through the end of the week. We'll see a shot of cooler air come in Friday and Saturday, knocking those temperatures about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than average, but a quick warm up on the backside as that area of high pressure shifts off to the south and to the east. Temperatures returning to 10 to 20 degrees warmer than average by the time we get to Sunday and Monday of next week. Your high temperatures for the next several days then today, looking at highs anywhere across from the mid-40s to the north to the 50s and 60s off to the south, and that again where you see the 60-degree temperatures in portions of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. South from there, that's where we could see that chance of an isolated strong storm. So we look at the highs on Wednesday and Thursday, a bit cooler off to the north in the 30s, but temperatures still remaining mild off to the south, Pennsylvania, all the way up to Massachusetts, seeing high temperatures in the 50s. That shot of cool air moves in on Friday, but we quickly warm back up as we head into the weekend and early next week.